but as for all the testimonies, um, this is here's one firefighter who says, I'm talking about from chapter 3, I'm reading, as I was looking out the window, which was a total of just 5 seconds, another jumper comes by, kind of like clipped the edge of the roof and just vaporized. The guy just disappeared. There was no longer a body, just a big cloud of red. So, if Gage is going through all the first responder testimonies, why don't they see something like that?
Yeah.
And,
the second one I wrote starts talking about body parts all over the place, and a firefighter covered up the torso of one just simply because he didn't want to look at it, I think.
Right. He, out of respect for it, he put his jacket on it.
Yeah.
And I've seen body parts just going everywhere when they hit the ground. So you'd see one guy hit, and then there was a boom, and you see his arms and legs just fly off. So there's a person going boom. Did Richard Gage count that as a bomb?
Well, he could do.
This is the thing I really wonder about when people claim they go through the first responder testimony, because the truth is in there. And I'll read this last one, and I put it as the last one because it is so sickening, and the guy ends, yes, I'm done. He says, going up West Street, there were other companies, but we were distracted. There were just bodies all over the place and parts, and it was just clothes and flesh. I remember a guy getting off the rig and stepping like he was stepping, I thought he stepped in dog manure. It was bodies. Yes, I'm done. Now, there's a lot of testimony like that.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Mr. Gage see any of those?
Yeah, well, apparently Dr. Judy Wood denies the witness testimonies, but there's over 100 in your book. So
yeah, at least, and there's,
So it's again, if he just says something, people just lap it up. They don't actually check to find out whether he's accurate, how accurate his statement is.
Right. It's let's see, there's quite a few other ones that I was reading to you the other day. I don't know which ones are good.
Yeah. Well, we've got
here's one guy who says, I'm thinking that it was the top third that came off, but you see, because the cloud is dust still there, but then he learns that it's dust and powder. There's nothing left of the building. He didn't hear a big boom go off. He didn't hear a bang, or there's an absence of sound. And he's expecting, he thought just the top of the building tipped over because that's all he could see, and then there's dust all over the place. When the dust cleared, where's the building? He was surprised to find the building missing.
Well, I think that's the general theme for people who were there, that the shock that the buildings suddenly aren't there.
And that it was not smoke, because this is a good one. So somebody, which actually helped me, I don't know who it was, after somebody said, I can't breathe, somebody, I don't know which direction it came from, screamed out, don't panic, relax, it's not smoke, it's just dust, just relax. Because when smoke fills the air, it displaces the oxygen. And these guys were worried that they're goners, that this was smoke and they would be dead. But hey, just relax. It's just dust. It's not smoke.
That's why you have to get down underground to get underneath the smoke.
Right. Now, with the dust, they had to stick their face in their armpit of their shirt to use their clothing for an air filter because there's so much. This guy talks about, he says at that point when I started to realize my mouth was filling up like with a sandball, all of a sudden I realized when whoever said that, now I'm starting to pay attention to my surroundings. I realized there was no heat. You could breathe. Stuff was going in your mouth, and it was a cool air coming in when you breathe it. So I said maybe he was right. You couldn't see it. It was gritty, but everything was black because it blocked out all the sun. But the air, it was initially cooler than ambient temperature, and you could breathe, meaning it was not smoke.
So when Richard Gage says you deny heat, you don't deny heat.
That was a chief fire marshal that said that.
There's just no evidence of heat. This is what he's missing, or he's trying to cover it up. When he says that you deny heat, you don't deny it. It's just that it's not there. There's
Yeah,
nothing to deny.
and I think most people who looked at what was going on TV, you see all this unburned paper fluttering all over the place. So if you
Yeah.
had bombs blowing up the building, hot bombs, they produce lots of heat, or even spray on thermite or spray on nukes or whatever the end thing is. Both of those produce heat and lots of it. You would have
Right,
paper on fire.
Well, we're running out of time right now, so any closing thoughts?
For me, or it just
For either. Is Andrew still with us?
I'm still here.
Oh, yeah. Any closing thoughts, Andrew?
Well, I think really people just need to be very aware that a lot of the groups, like A9/11, are set up to divert people away from what actually happened. And, only by trying to get your hands on the actual evidence, are you going to be able to verify that what they're saying is true. I mean, we've gone off into a number of different areas, but largely based on evidence which we know about, and people, I think, should try and gain as much of that knowledge as they can. And that applies not just to 9/11 research, but, for example, I've been talking about the chemtrail phenomenon, and I think the same sort of thing is going on with that field of research, or that movement, if you want to call it a movement. I would argue quite strongly that the same process is ongoing, and I think Matthew, you and I would perhaps also say the same thing is going on with some of the health issues and the false information that's circulated about alternative health by some websites. So it's across the board really that you've got to be really careful that you do research as much as you can and try and go to the raw evidence. And not just people's statements about it.
And looking at, kind of get to this theme of the mainstream media, they don't make these statements because there's a problem with them. They can't source them. There's no sourcing for them. Why does the mainstream media not talk about mini nukes in the buildings or bombs in the buildings? They don't have any evidence of it.
No, but they do talk about things that they don't have evidence for, or they kind of have evidence for. Yeah.
They don't have an end point, but they leave it at that. They can correctly say that NIST concluded blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that's their interpretation of what they believe NIST concluded. It's a misleading truth, but they don't. People get upset. They don't present their favorite conspiracy theory. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
If they could just like take it into court, why don't they take it into court? If they claim that they have evidence of something, have proof of something, and don't just have a theory, why don't they take it to court?
Yep. Okay. And on that note, we'll leave it, and we'll be back next week. So thank you for listening. This is Red Pill Raw Truth. Thank you very much.
Thanks.